Hello and welcome. Live from Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. You're watching Newsroom Series. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. And today our focus will be on the northwestern region. But before we get into that, let's have a snippet of our top stories making rounds at the moment. President Bola Tinubu has transmitted a constitution amendment bill to the Senate seeking the establishment of state police as part of efforts to reform Nigeria's security architecture. The bill, read during plenary by Senate President Godswill Akpabio, proposes a dual policing system that would allow states to operate their own police services alongside the Nigeria Police Force. The Senate has referred the legislation to the Constitution Review Committee, which is expected to report back on Wednesday ahead of a vote. Lawmakers say the proposal is aimed at strengthening community-based security and improving the country's overall policing framework. Now to the judiciary. Federal High Court in Abuja has refused to relax the bail conditions for the former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai in the ongoing alleged wiretapping case brought against him by the Department of State Services, DSS. Mr. El-Rufai, through his lawyer Paul Erokoro Santa, had applied for a variation of some of the bail conditions earlier granted, describing them as harsh, stringent, outlandish, and difficult to meet. However, the prosecution, Oluwole Aladeoye, opposed the request, insisting that qualified public officers who meet the conditions exist and urged the courts to refuse the application. Delivering the ruling, Justice Joyce Abdul Malik declined the request to vary the bail conditions, holding that there are civil servants who own properties at the said location. At Tuesday's proceedings, the Department of State Services closed its case against the former governor. Following the developments, Defense Counsel Paul Erokoro told the court that the defense intends to file a no-case submission, arguing that the prosecution has failed to establish sufficient evidence against the former governor. Justice Joyce Abdul Malik has, however, fixed September 22nd for hearing of the no-case submission and continuation of proceedings. To electoral matters now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is presenting certificates of return to winners of the by-elections conducted across 6 states on June 20, 2026. The elections were held for senatorial seats in Enugu, Nasarawa North, Ondo South, and River South East, as well as the Dawankin Kudu Warawa Federal Constituency in Kano State and the Zuru State Constituency in Kebbi State. The National Commissioner, May Agbamuche, representing the INEC chairman, is supervising the presentation, while national commissioners overseeing the affected zones are presenting the certificates to the successful candidates. She also announced that certificates of return will be presented to the Ekiti State Governor-elect in Ado-Ekiti and the winner of the Zuru State constituency election in Birnin, Kebbi. We start off on a sad note, as no fewer than 8 persons have been killed following a communal clash between farmers and herders in Golma Town, Arugungu local government area of Kebbi State. The violence reportedly began when a Fulani herder allegedly stabbed a farmer to death on his farmland. In reprisal, members of the farming community allegedly attacked Fulani settlements in the area, killing about 8 persons and escalating tensions within the community. Confirming the incident to Channels Television, the Kebbi State Police Public Relations Officer SP Bashir Usman said the clash occurred at about 3 p.m. on Monday and resulted in multiple fatalities. The police spokesperson added that 4 persons were rescued by security operatives and taken to the hospital for treatment before being discharged. According to him, normalcy has been restored in the area, while security personnel have been deployed to maintain law and order. He urged residents to remain peaceful, cooperate with security agencies, and refrain from taking the law into their own hands, stressing the need to report grievances to the appropriate authorities. 4 years, access to clean water remained a daily struggle for residents of Dandurumi community in Kebbi State, with women and children spending hours searching for the precious resource. Today, that story is changing following the commissioning of a rehabilitated solar-powered borehole aimed at providing safe and sustainable water to the community.
For the people of Dandurumi community in Kokobesa local government area of Kebbi State, access to water was more than a necessity. It was a daily challenge. Women and children routinely trekked for nearly 30 minutes to neighboring communities in search of water, a burden that affected household activities, hygiene, and overall well-being. Concerned by the situation, 2 non-governmental organizations are stepping in with urgent interventions, a commitment to supporting vulnerable communities through sustainable development projects.
This is a pilot phase in Kebbi State, and Koko Bese LGA has been selected for this implementation. We hope that this will bring succor to the well-meaning people of this area, this location, Ndurumi, and we solicit the support of the leadership and the inhabitants of this community to, kind of bring out that idea of sustainability and ensure that this project is protected. And as you can see, this is a 10,000 liter capacity borehole.
Due to some information gotten from the national assessment, we were able to pick out Koko as one of the areas that deserve this particular project. So it was not a free pick kind of a thing, rather it was something that was necessitated by the assessment, global assessment, national assessment, and state assessment that gives us the insight that this particular local government deserves this particular project.
The rehabilitation facility is expected to improve water distribution and significantly ease access to clean water for residents.
We hope and pray that this initiative that they have implemented will be extended to every other place, and this will be also lasting. We pray for its sustenance. We also pray for the community here who are beneficiaries to take care of this facility for it to get to others, to generations to come.
For community members, the project represents more than infrastructure. It is relief from years of hardship.
We have started engaging with different groups, including those to whom we will eventually hand over the facility. I assure you that we will not allow this facility to deteriorate or fall into despair.
The event culminates in the official handover and commissioning of the rehabilitated solar-powered borehole, which gives the people a safe, reliable, and sustainable water supply for Dandurumi community.
Governor Uba Sani of Kaduna State and the Minister of Defense, retired General Christopher Musa, have emphasized the critical role of correctional institutions in strengthening Nigeria's national security framework. They made the remarks at the annual Correctional Leadership Colloquium, where stakeholders gathered to discuss leadership, rehabilitation, and reforms within the nation's correctional system, setting the tone for what would turn out to be an incisive conversation. Governor Uba Sani, represented by his Chief of Staff, Sani Kila, highlights the importance of transforming correctional centers into institutions of rehabilitation and reformation rather than mere detention facilities.
One of the most important lessons from leadership and organizational management is that successful institutions are built on teamwork, whether in government, correctional service, security agencies, private organizations, or community associations. No institution succeeds through individual effort.
The preservation of sovereignty extends beyond the battlefield. The sovereign nation must possess the capacity to enforce its laws, administer justice, maintain order, and protect its citizens from internal and external threats. Beyond custody.
Participants at the colloquium underscored the need for continuous reforms, improved infrastructure, enhanced staff capacity, and the adoption of modern correctional practices.
Beyond custody, the Correctional Service has great potential to support national food security and national intelligence. as a grassroots institution that interfaces daily with offenders, information flowing in and out of our centers can provide actionable intelligence for tracking crime networks and patterns.
Rehabilitation is just an entity of all our mandates, of all the government expectation of the Nigerian Correctional Service. We spoke of the hope agenda, renewed hope agenda, and part of the renewed hope agenda is just for us to ensure that the society is at peace, the society is safe, the society is secured.
The federal government has flagged off the distribution of 100,800 bags of fertilizer to 25,200 smallholder farmers across the Northwest in a major intervention aimed at boosting food production and strengthening food security in the country. The support under the Renewed Hope Farm Input Support Program, FISP, will benefit farmers in Katsina, Kano, Kaduna, Kebbi, and Jigawa states, with each registered farmer expected to receive 4 bags of fertilizer.
With a high cost of farm inputs, supply and logistic gaps, and limited market access posing serious challenges, supporting farmers at the point of production remains critical to increasing output and stabilizing the nation's food supply. It's against this backdrop that the federal government is rolling out the Renewed Hope Farm Input Support Program, designed to ease farmers' burdens and strengthen agricultural productivity in the Northwest region.
At the National Agricultural Development Fund, we believe agriculture must be treated as one of the strongest engines of national development. When we get agriculture right, we create jobs, we strengthen rural communities and livelihoods, we improve food supply and put more value in the hands of farmers.
At the forefront of the program is the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, which is pushing the homegrown policy to address long-standing gaps in the agricultural value chain and drive sustainable economic growth and transformation across the Northwest and the rest of the country.
The Farm Input Support Program Phase 1 is an economic and social impact intervention of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, by which the National Agricultural Development Fund provides fertilizers as a grant to smallholder farmers and in the process address a crop productivity gap, while supporting indigenous fertilizer producers to upscale production to meet the demand.
Katsina State Governor Diko Rada commends President Bola Tinubu for what he describes as a practical intervention that will directly improve the lives of the people and reinforce agriculture as a catalyst for economic growth, job creation, poverty reduction, and national productivity.
This event marks another significant milestone in the federal government commitment to ensuring food security, strengthening agricultural productivity, and improving livelihood of millions of Nigerian farmers.
The ceremony ends with the signing of a memorandum of understanding and the formal handover of the fertilizer by the National Agricultural Development Fund and the symbolic presentation of farm inputs to selected beneficiaries.
You're watching Newsroom Series on Channels Television. Right after this break, we'll bring you more stories making rounds within the region. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now, as part of efforts to strengthen government communication, promote transparency, and enhance public engagement through modern digital platforms, the Kano State government has unveiled a digital multimedia department under the Ministry of Information and Internal Affairs. The state's Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs, Ibrahim Ouaya, disclosed this during the unveiling and inauguration ceremony held at the ministry's headquarters in the Audu Bako Secretariat, Kano. Our correspondent Abubakar Salihu reports.
Gathered here at the Kano Ministry for Information for the unveiling of the new digital multimedia department are experts in communication studies, media practitioners, directors of public enlightenment, and public relation officers drawn from ministries, departments, and agencies across the state. This signals a departure from analog to a fully digitalized multimedia system of communication and governance, aimed at promoting efficiency, transparency, and public engagement.
Today, a significant and growing majority of our people now depend on digital and multimedia platforms, not as a convenience or an entertainment option, but as the primary channel through which they access education, receive information, conduct commerce, engage in marketing and trade.
The occasion also witnessed the formal inauguration of the Forum of Directors of Public Enlightenment and Public Relations Officers in the State Civil Service.
Today's occasion also marks a second historic milestone, the formal inauguration of the Forum of Directors of Public Enlightenment and Public Relations Officers from across the ministries, departments, and agencies of government of Kano State Government.
Letter of nomination to His Excellency for the award of security governance.
In another development, Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of Kano State has been conferred with the Award of Excellence in Security Governance by the Institute of Security and Strategic Studies in recognition of his administration's outstanding performance in peace, security, and social stability in the state. While presenting the award to the Kano State Commissioner of Information who represented the governor at the event, the director of the institute disclosed that the nomination followed a comprehensive research and assessment conducted across the 7 Northwest states.
The departments in the Institute Department of Research and Policy Directorate conducted a comprehensive assessment of all the 7 states in the Northwest. And the findings of this research was mind-blowing. It was observed that Kano State was found most stable in terms of security resilience.
Kano has remained relatively scared and peaceful among the 7 states in the Northwest geopolitical zone. Abubakar Salihu, Channels Television News.
Now to security, the Niger Police Force is moving from analog to digital policing, with officers now training in artificial intelligence to fight crime. The Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of Finance and Administration, supervising the Northwest Geopolitical Zone, Suleiman Abdul, says the Niger Police Force is transitioning from analog to digital policing, with officers already undergoing training in the use of artificial intelligence to enhance crime-fighting efforts. He made this known in Sokoto State during a stakeholders' engagement aimed at exploring ways to strengthen crime prevention and address the growing security challenges facing the state, neighboring states, and bordering countries. The DIG expressed concern over the country's extensive international borders and vast rural frontiers, which he said make Nigeria vulnerable to the infiltration of illegal small arms and light weapons, cross-border banditry, and rural attacks. He also identified the threat posed by local informants as individuals living within communities who compromise collective security for financial gain as a major concern.
The Nigerian police force is anchoring its relationship with you on 3 non-negotiable principles. 1, trust as our primary constituency. 2, community intelligence and criminal informants. 3, dismantling institutional silence. Our extensive international borders and vast rural frontiers make us vulnerable for infiltration of illegal small firearms, cross-border banditry and rural raids, as well as the insider trade of local informants. Individuals living among us compromise our collective safety for only 3 days.
Our ongoing operations have been following reports and arrests, arms and ammunition, 7 AK-47 rifles were recovered, 4 fabricated AK rifles, 2 fabricated pistols, 12 gun guns, 153 live ammunitions, and 15 magazines, all running this period. Recoveries and rescues: 310 domestic animals recovered, 32 kidnapped victims rescued, 4 bandits neutralized, 2 informants arrested.
The wife of the Jigawa State Governor, Amina Umar Namadi, has urged members of the Fulani community to obtain their voter cards ahead of the 2027 general elections. She made the appeal during a visit to Dumbus in Dutse local government area, where she engaged community members and key stakeholders. Our correspondent Sadiq Liasu reports.
Women, youth and community leaders gathered at the Dindubus town square as the wife of the governor arrived to address them. Fulani leaders and government officials highlighted the importance of voter registration and active participation in the 2027 general elections.
We have seen how this administration has been carrying out different projects, so we have to vote for them in the coming election. We must all get our voters' cards. Elections are approaching, and we will vote for our candidates.
The governor's wife, who expressed satisfaction with the turnout, especially among women, urged residents to ensure they obtain their voters' cards without delay.
Women are the backbone of the society, and alhamdulillah, by mere looking now, the people we see in Dundubus are massive. We have over 1,000 people here that are interested, and we advise them to get their voters card, because it's only when they have their voters card that they can vote. So we call on them and other people in Jigawa State to make sure they get their voters card to ensure a successful election, inshallah.
The engagement forms part of efforts to strengthen inclusive participation and ensure no community is left out in the democratic process. Sadiq Ilyasu, Channels Television News.
Christians in Katsina State have held a one-day national prayer rally calling for urgent divine intervention to address the lingering insecurity in the country. The prayer rally, organized under the platform of Nigeria Prays, brought together Christian faithful at the Ekwa Church in Katsina GRA to intercede for the healing, peace and transformation of the nation. However, the stakeholders cautioned Nigerians against taking laws into their hands, warning that such actions could gradually lead to lawlessness and impunity.
This prayer rally, themed King of Kings and Lord of Lords, is aimed at mobilizing Nigerians to engage in regular, fervent and result-oriented prayers for the country, while also promoting patriotism, transparency and incorruptibility in leadership and governance.
We thank you also.
The event, organized by Nigeria Prays, attracted clerics and believers across northwest Nigeria who called for unity, faith and support for government efforts.
This is important. It cannot be overemphasized. It is relevant. It is necessary at this critical time where we have the issues of security, bedeviling our country. And as a matter of fact, it's not even peculiar to Katsina State alone. The issue of insecurity is cuts across every geopolitical zone in the country.
The participants offered praise and worship. They are also confident that steadfastness in prayer is a pathway to lasting solutions to the country's numerous challenges, especially insecurity.
The scripture tells us that we should watch and pray. Because as human beings, if we are not watchful and we are not prayerful, we will never be strong. So there is no any other way, there is no solution to most of the challenges that we are facing nationally, globally, unless we turn to God through prayers. So Christians in the state and all over the nation are encouraged to keep on praying fervently without ceasing. That is the only means by which they will get the strength and get solutions to their problems.
The prayer rally ended with a special intercession for peace, unity and national healing, as participants expressed hope that Nigeria would soon overcome its security challenges through collective efforts and divine intervention.
Of the encore on this edition of Newsroom Series. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. For updates, kindly visit our website at www.channelstv.com. Enjoy the rest of your day.